Hey Slayers, welcome back to another episode of Slaying Self Doubt Podcast. It's your girl, Coach Felicia. This is an impromptu episode because I had told y'all, if you follow me on Instagram, I said I wasn't making any podcast episodes for this week. But the Lord always wins. Okay. So first of all, I wasn't doing any podcast episodes for the first week of May because I didn't have the capacity because I'm actually out of town. I am at the ILS conference with TD Jakes in Orlando. And I was like, I want to make sure that I am zoned in. Like I knew I just didn't have the time to record, make sure I got everything out, how I like to do what I like to do. And I was like, I'm not gonna have the time, right? So as I'm packing, I am trying to decide, am I going to take my personal computer or my work computer? And I was like, I'm going to take my personal computer. One, because my supervisor had said, okay, while you're here, like, I want you to really focus on it. Don't be in here doing a whole bunch of work. Right. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take her advice for that. However, if I did have some time and tried to use my computer, I was like, I would have it. I can watch some shows I want to watch if I wanted to, look at any of my streaming services. And if I did want to look at my stuff with Slang Self Doubt, I would do that. So that's what I'm back. So I had all my electronics packed up. And then the day I'm packing my clothes, which is like Tuesday, the Holy Spirit is like, pack your mic. And I was like, for what? Like, why would I pack my mic? I already know that I'm not recording any episodes. And then even if I do, like I was like, it could wait. Like I just had all these different things, but it was very strong. I said, all right, I'm gonna just stick it in there and we'll see. Right now, there's a whole setup that I have at home. That I was like, okay, lighting, all these different things, like all the things that we think we need, right? So I'm starting to get into it anyway. And so I'm like, all right, just put it in the in the book bag and let that be the end of it. So we get here, we're in the opening session today. And this is kind of where I got the title of this episode, Tear Down the Walls of Self-Doubt. And so he is preaching about the walls, just being the walls in life, right? And some stuff are boundaries, some things are walls, and the fact that we have the power to tear down our walls, right? And so I want to talk about this in the reason why I'm grateful that the Lord told me to pack my mic at the time that he told me to pack my mic. Okay. So, first of all, the whole time that he is preaching, because that is what he is doing, I keep saying to myself, I just need him to say this one specific word, and I know he's talking to me. I don't know about y'all, but have you ever been listening to a sermon, been listening to a speaker, and everything you feel is that they feel like they are talking to you? You know that this is speaking directly into your situation. However, they have not said the key word or the thing that would make it be like, I know this is for me, right? Like they like talking around it, but they ain't really saying it for sure, right? So now you're giving yourself these things like, oh no, this, I mean, it was close, right? It was close. So anyway, he's talking about tear down the walls. So uh the walls of life. I think that's what he called it. And then he was like, tear down your walls. And so as he was having this conversation with us, and he's talking about the fact that in order in leadership and in whatever it is that God has given you to lead, okay, there are some walls that have been placed by other people, and then there's some walls that you have created for various reasons over your life. But in order to go into the next dimension of whatever your calling is, we're going to have to tear down these walls, right? And so the whole time that he's talking, I was like, yes, praise the Lord. And I kept saying to myself, I just need him to say the words slay, because he was like, as he was describing this scripture, he's talking about Joshua and the wall of Jericho, right? And he's talking about how they were. scratching down the wall, bringing it down, grabbing it, digging into it, hammering. He's using every single word except for slay, right? And he's saying basically tear it down, kill it, all these different words. And I'm just like, I just need him to say, slay the wall. Then I would know it's me, right? Then he's talking about your whatever your walls are internally. And so I'm like, okay, he ain't say slay, but as long as he say self doubt, then I know the Lord is talking to me, right? So he say everything, your fears, your insecurities, your imposter syndrome, those walls that you. And I was like, he ain't even say doubt. Like, can I get half the word? And I was so focused, right, on this so clear confirmation that he was talking to me that I forgot that the Lord had already confirmed it, gave me clarity, and I didn't need any more confirmation, right? And so as I was listening to him preach, and I was just like, okay, so now I know why he told me I need to get my mic because I got something for it. So um he says, so as he's talking about these things that we have created within ourselves, and this might be all over the place, but I promise you it's going to get to something. Okay. So the first thing I wrote down is that the self-doubt was meant to keep you boxed in, right? Sometimes the doubt, the insecurity, the imposter syndrome, the thing that somebody said to you, like, are you sure? Do you think you can do that? Who told you you had whatever have you? That thing, whatever that thing was that started your self doubt, whether it came from you, it came from somebody else, was meant to box you in. It was meant to keep you in a space where you would not go beyond your limitations, right? And as I was listening to him, and I was like, God, I know that you call me to this for a reason. And I say often that I am slaying self doubt. Like, this is personal to me because it is me. And I continuously ask for confirmations and clarity. And I'm repeatedly asking, like, are you sure? You sure? You sure? You sure? You sure? And it was so clear today that he was like, what more do you want from me? What more clarity can I give you? How many times can I say, this is what you're supposed to do? But you have your own self-doubt. Your self-doubt is keeping you boxed in into your own limitation. You are over here thinking that this is all that you can do. You are over here thinking that it can't be any more than what it is that you're doing. And I'm trying to get you to do more, but because you're so focused on what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to have come, what you should have been doing, what everybody else is doing, and how fast things are moving, that how I am positioning and using you, you're missing it. I want you to do it this way, right? And you know that I've called you to do it this way. Plenty of times I've been in courses, classes, groups where they are trying to get me to had tried to get me to create selling self-doubt in a way that I was like, this is not what he wants. This is not of God, right? And so it's so easy for me to be able to be in another space when somebody trying to give me their input for me to be like, nah, that's not going to work because that's not the way the Lord wants me to do it. But when it comes from me and I am putting my input on it, I'm not saying that to myself, like, is this what he wants from you? And so because I am so, I have been so married to the way thought things were supposed to look like and how I thought things were supposed to be. I have kept myself boxed in because of my own self-doubt, because of my own insecurity of how can that be the thing you want me to do? That can't be it. Like, legit, I've said those words like, Lord, that can't be it. That can't be the thing you want me to do. That can't be the reason why you had me leave my child. Are you serious? Is this what you want me to do? Because it don't make sense, right? Because sometimes it could be so simple and so easy, and you're like, it gotta be harder than this, or like, how what? It don't be making sense. And so the walls that we have created, or no matter how they started, that self-doubt is meant to keep you boxed in, keep you in this space. And he is saying that we have to move beyond our limitations, right? So the next thing that he says is you have the power to tear down your walls, right? And you have the power to tear down your self-doubt. So as he's using the examples and he's talking about these different stories in history, I think he was talking about the Berlin Wall, I believe, and how they were like tear down the wall and how these people were grabbing it, and maybe that's who was grabbing at it and clawing at it and all of that stuff, right? And that's when I was legit like, yes, say slay. And I don't know that we're out here talking about this is slay and self-doubt, right? And so the whole time I'm like, why? So the whole time that he is saying this to me, oh, no, the whole time he is talking, I'm literally like so focused on it. And I'm like, okay, come on, Holy Spirit, like, yes, let this be it, let this be it. And in that moment, I was like, he don't have to say it because you've already done it, right? Because I'm Slaying Self Doubt is already here, right? It's already a thing. So he don't have to confirm what he already called me to because I'm already in it, right. But the thing about it is that believing that I have the power to tear it down, believing that you have the power to tear it down, believing that you are the only person that can tear it down. When we talk about slaying self doubt, I say often to you all, to my clients, nobody else can do this for you. Here I am wanting TD Jakes to help me tear down my self doubt about something that I already know to be true. I tell you every time, like I said before, when we start these things, that this is me. Every time I show up, I'm actively slaying my self doubt. So why would I need Bishop T.D. Jakes to tell me something I already know? Because sometimes we think if somebody else say it, somebody else pray over us, somebody else do it, it's going to be different. It's going to hit different if they say it, because then, you know, they got more power than we do. But that's not true. That is not true. God has given us the power to speak over our situations. God has given us the power to slay ourselves down. We already have everything we need. So as he was preaching and talking, and I was like God was downloading in me at that time. Like, you have it. What are you waiting for? I've given you all the resources. I have given you all the tools. There has to be action behind it. Here we are talking about the year of doing, and I'm over here still asking for confirmation. Now, at the end of the day, baby, God, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We know this, right? However, if you know that God has given you something and you're supposed to be doing something, and you're sitting over here still waiting for confirmations, still waiting for clarity, still waiting for him to tell you something else, you're wasting time. You are wasting time. We are wasting time. Okay. Third thing, whole time I'm out here trying to get him to say these words. And as I am gathering myself together and I'm listening to what he said, it hits me like a ton of bricks. That tearing down these walls equals slaying self-doubt. Whole time I was looking for him to say something that didn't need to be said because it meant the same thing. Tearing down these walls. He was talking about these walls that you have, that I have individually, not other people's stuff, but tearing down these walls that are keeping us in this space is slaying self-doubt. And here I am again looking for more, it to be more whimsical, it to be more magical, and it's as simple as what it is, right? I came into this situation putting some things, writing some things down that I needed God's answer on, and I needed his clarity. But the problem is I keep asking the same question, right? The question I tend to ask when things get difficult is Is this what you want me to do? And what happens is that gets confusing because this could be anything. Could be in, I mean, I know it means slaying self-doubt, but I know I'm supposed to do this. So why do I keep asking the same question? Well, first of all, I'm not being clear because I am it's easy for me to just say, is this it? Right. But not being very clear about what this is. Right. And that was the other thing that he's like, what is the wall that you need to tear down? Right. And so when we talk about slaying self-doubt, remember we say it's a general statement, but it applies to everything in your life, right? As he was giving examples, he's talking about the walls in your marriage. He's talking about the walls in your parenting. He's talking about the walls at your job, the walls in your business, the walls in your finances. Baby, that's what we talk about. We talk about self-doubt. It's like self-doubt shows up in your marriage, in your finances, in your parenting, in your business, in your job, in your leadership, in your friendships, in all the things. So here I am in this space looking for some supernatural answer about something I am already doing. And I had to make a choice. Am I going to keep asking God the same question over and over again, which is at the same time, literally me walking in circles? That is all I'm doing. I'm walking in circles. And so, as we're talking about walking in circles, and they're talking about the walls of Jericho and how simple it was that they were walking around, but the change happened when they opened their mouth. And he said, the walls come down when it's time to speak, when it's time to open your mouth. Because when you open your mouth that is when God says, like, this is it, right? And so when I was thinking about, oh my gosh, like there's so many different things, right? It was in that moment that I was like, tear the walls down, slaying self-doubt. I asked God before to be clear about what was in my hand. It was at the beginning of the year, and it was my mic. And it all just pieced together for me that I was like, girl, you've been making it so hard. You've been making it harder than it needed to be. And your power, your strength, your slaying, your tearing, the thing that you have been looking for, clarity, answers, confirmation, whatever, is in this mic because it's in my voice. It's in what he has given me to use, the power behind this thing, to be able to speak my truth, to be able to open my mouth and tear down my self-doubt wall every single time I open my mouth. So you know what I said when I walked out of that at the auditorium? I said, Bunny, keep talking, keep recording, keep podcasting. That's how you tear down them walls. That is how you slay your self doubt. Keep opening your mouth. Keep sharing your story. Keep giving your testimony. Keep recording episodes. Keep interviewing people. Keep this conversation going. You know why? Because the purpose of tearing down the walls is to disrupt. There is a disruption happening. There are conversations that need to happen on the other side of this wall. And that is my final point. It says, what is on the other side of your wall? Your healing is on the other side of you slaying your self-doubt. Generational curses being broken was on the other side of you slaying your self-doubt. Your next promotion, your next assignment is on the other side of slaying your self-doubt. Your power is on the other side of you slaying your self-doubt. Like there's so many things that are on the other side. And I had to think about it like you're having conversations that people before me could never have. And I did not know that the intention behind what God was doing is saying, not another woman would not be able to open their mouth to say they're struggling. Not another woman who is connected to slaying self-doubt will not be able to feel comfortable, brave, and safe to be able to say, I don't have it all. Not another woman who is connected to you will feel like they are not worthy to be able to do the thing that I've called them to do, because they understand that this feeling, this insecurity, this worry, this all of this doubt that you have, it's okay. But we're slaying it, which means we're taking action every single day. And then when you keep talking about it and you normalize it, just like we normalize everything else out here, when you normalize it, guess what? People push through, because that's okay. It's normal. This is fine. We just can't stay here. You can have the feeling, but we can't stay here. That's what we can't settle here. Okay. We have to tear the wall down and we have to keep it moving. Like I said, very impromptu episode. Probably sounded really, really random, but I had to get it out. I had to be able to say what I needed to say, share what I needed to say, share, so that you could get what it is that God is telling me today. And what He is telling me today is that you have to tear down your wall of self doubt, because there's someone on the other side of that wall. You need to make a choice today. The choice is yours. Period. That's what God told me. The choice is mine. I came into my room and I was about to go to the pool, and I was like, God, like, thank you for, this opportunity. Thank you for being to be here. And I'm so glad you told me to bring my mic. And, but for real though, like, why you ain't why you ain't say nothing specific? And he basically told me, I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. I've sent you too many confirmations for you not to know that this is it. You're not asking the right questions. The right question is, what's next? The right question is, how do I use my mic? How do I use my mic to tear down these walls? Now we need to get to the how. You kept wanting to know, are we sure? Are we sure? Why? Why me? Why you want, why you pick me? Why you did it? We didn't got past that. I'm telling you, I already told you why. We're not going to keep doing this, right? Now is get to it. Do the work, get to it. So we got to get to it, y'all. I ain't got no intro. I ain't got no outro. This all you gonna get. I see y'all. I don't know. You might get a bonus episode tomorrow, depending on what I hear tomorrow. So, I'm gonna drop this right now before midnight, so y'all get this on May 4th. But this right here, I'm telling you, this I know for a fact that if I do not walk away from this thing changed, this is a disservice to myself, right? Like, for real, for real. I have to put some action behind what it is. There is disruption happening in the world. Okay. In your communities, there's disruption happening for the better and for the worse. You have to decide what side of the wall are you going to be on. That's really what it boils down to. We can wallow. I could choose to wallow in the fact that I have this worry and this fear and this anxiety, and I'm scared of what's on the other side of this wall. I can say that, but he made use an example of, like, would you mind dealing with the small, temporary discomfort in order to get what's on the other side? Sometimes we are so afraid that we won't even deal with the temporary discomfort to see what's on the other side, when we know there's a possibility it can be better. There's so many different things over my lifetime that I can say it was so much better on the other side of that hurt. It was so much better on the other side of that pain. Baby, if I think about delivering my children, okay, anybody who ever had a kid, and I think I've shared this on here before, but anybody who's ever had a kid, you push them jokers out, and I promise you, your brain forgets the fact that you was in labor for hours. Okay, where it felt like it was the end of the world. You could not push anymore. Okay. Like, it was like, get somebody else to do it. It's how you felt. But as soon as them jokers came out, I like, do I know it was painful? I do, but it all goes away. It's worth it. Okay. It's worth the discomfort. It's worth the changes in your body. It's worth the changes in your hormones. It's worth it. Okay. So, like I said, that's all I got. I might be back tomorrow. I don't know. If not, I'll see y'all next time. See ya.